You're listening to the
Just call me
Dollop
Pie
on
Boy.
the All Things Comedy Network. This is an American history podcast where each week I, Dave Anthony, read a story from American history to my pie boy.
Gareth Reynolds. I'm not sure what this pie guy stuff is, but I have
boy.
no idea what the topic. I do know what the topic's going to be about. It's going to be about America's greatest president, Benjamin Franklin.
You just seem like a pie boy.
I don't eat pie.
That doesn't matter.
I am.
It's a vibe. Pie boy's a vibe more than it is an actual.
I like
thing.
pie.
You don't eat pie?
No, I can't eat pie. What are you talking about?
Why?
Well, is pie good for you?
Yeah, it's fine.
No, it's not. Pie is not good for you.
You can have a piece of pie once in a while.
Once in a while, you can have a piece of pie, sure.
You just said you don't eat pie.
I don't actively eat pie. I eat pie like once a year.
Eats pie?
Well, it sounds like you do the way you're so defensive about eating
pie like once a year also, but you said I don't eat pie. It's like saying I don't eat meat.
I don't eat pie. There was a time when I ate a lot of pie.
Well, this is different.
There was a time when, dare I say, I was going pie crazy. It was a dark phase. And by the way, I've had the body to show that I ate pie. And that's when I learned I can't eat pie anymore. I can't do it.
I don't know what goes on with you.
Nobody does.
But it's not good.
It's not good. I'm like just...
Not good.
I just need some... What I need is just... I need a circle. I need
like
an inner...
pie?
I need an inner circle. All right. Good one.
1745. King George's War was raging, and it strained Britain's relationship with the colonies.
Okay.
The Pennsylvania Assembly, which was dominated by Quakers, peace-loving Quakers.
Mm-hmm. We like Quakers.
Well, they refused to contribute money to the war. They're the Quakes.
Seems so strange now.
But they did give £4,000.
Could that be our third party? Could we do Quakers?
I would love to have a Quaker party. I would 100%.
Could we do it?
Quakers are fantastic. I would 100% support a
It's
Quaker
got
party.
name identification.
Yep.
We've got oats.
Yep.
How about this?
Well,
let's just pitch a little bit.
Seems a bit much.
Let's just pitch a little bit. Quakers, we got oats. Now we need votes.
They gave £4,000 for bread, beef, pork, flour, wheat, or other grain.
I'm going to retire.
What was the last episode?
Yeah, he's gone.
Come up with another terrible.
All right, let me throw me a little guy, and I'll make him super strange.
Now, the governor, who was the guy that the Penns, the owners of the land,
right,
hired to stymie anything the assembly wanted to do, so they interpreted other grain to mean gunpowder.
Wait, so this is so America.
This is so America. The Quakers like, you can only use this money for bread, pork, beef, wheat, or other grain. And the governor's like, so other grain means gunpowder, right?
So you mean inedible gun grain?
Because gunpowder has grains.
It's grainy.
So he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah, right.
France starts recruiting Native Americans people to do raids across the colonies and attack ships off the coast. First Nations, as they're called up there.
Okay.
The assembly refused.
How do we feel about that?
Whatever they're going to call them, they treat the Native Americans just as bad, or if not worse, than we do. So,
but they're coming to get us.
The First Nations people,
yeah.
They're not us. I'm not. I'm in any
You're
war.
a whitey.
I am
You're
opposed
a
to my people.
Shut up, Whitey. You're going to air Venus.
Except when the Irish fight the English. Then I'm.
What's your deal? Why are you coming at me?
The English are the worst.
That's not true.
It is true.
I mean, look, we're sorry, all right. We've done a bad. We've had what we call an oopsie daisy, upsy dansy.
Killed so many people
on fucking accident, mate.
No, you slaughtered people on purpose.
Well, because we needed a few little things from the shop.
Well, the shop is other countries.
Well, yeah, but we needed them. We was fucking starving, man.
You weren't.
Yeah, we were.
You're totally gluttonous.
Well, we was yeah, it's a disease. We got gluttony. We've got to fill it.
It's not a disease.
Yeah, it is. It's a medical condition, mate.
It's not a medical condition.
Of course it is. That's what I got those ads for it, when I say, is, well, ask your doctor if pillaging's right for you. Because you suffer from gluttony. Come on in. Honestly.
Come on in.
Come on in.
No.
Come on in.
This is not what we're saying.
Get on board. Look, you know the phrase, got to break a few eggs to have all the eggs.
That's not a phrase.
All right, well, now it is. Got to break a few eggs to have all the eggs.
You're horrendous people.
Look, are these the teeth of people who've been eating everything?
Yes.
Oh, all right. Well.
So the assembly refuses to fund a militia, even though France is having the Native Americans do raids. So Ben writes propaganda to make it happen.
Nice.
He called for a voluntary defense militia, and he organized this meeting, and the meeting is so popular they have to hold a second meeting.
Wow.
And Ben claims
he added a show.
He did. He had a show.
That's where you want to be,
sold out.
Adding shows.
Yep. Ben claimed 1,200 men signed the petition, although historians say that's a huge exaggeration.
Okay.
So he's a big, that's who Ben is.
It's a little Trumpy.
There's a little Trumpy and stuff to him, yeah. Ben became a justice of the peace, and then he becomes a member of Philadelphia's Common Council, and then he becomes an alderman. And in 1751, he ran for the assembly, and his son takes his clerk job in the assembly because you got to keep that printing money coming in.
Sure.
Right? In 1753, the Postmaster General for America died, and Ben lobbied for and got the job.
Okay.
So his first act was to appoint his son as Postmaster of Philadelphia.
Now, Postmaster, it's just you control the mail. You're in charge of the mail.
Yeah.
So it is a big deal back then because the mail is information.
It's a money position.
Right. Whereas now you're kind of like, come on, stamps should stay the same, weirdo.
Later, his brother would have that job. So
okay, so it's a little nepotism.
Family. I mean, although nepotism is very common, Ben took it to the extreme.
Interesting.
So in 1775, he returned to Philadelphia after a year of traveling. He'd been out trying to regulate and improve post offices.
Okay.
And Britain is sending troops to Ohio, which is partly occupied by the French.
That's so funny.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
To think that was ever partly France?
Yeah, like in the middle of France. I know it's not the middle of the country then, but like you were just like, Jesus Christ, get out of here, guys. Yeah. We're trying to make a whole thing here. And unfortunately, we claim Ohio.
And also, can we just say that literally nothing of France was left in Ohio? That place is the least.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there's like an Aubon pen. This is our legacy, huh? You understand?
Ben meets the general in charge of the British.
Okay. Of Ohio.
American, yeah.
All right.
And he's furious because they only have 25 wagons and they need 150 to fight the French.
The general.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Ben promises he'll get him more.
This is such a funny time.
Right?
To be like, Ben Franklin is promising more wagons so the British can uproot the French from Ohio.
Yeah. That's right.
Look, we're not going to defeat the French unless we've got more wagons. I will return with more wagons. Look at them. There's a 6 can defeat us with more wagons, huh? By the way, this is Cincinnati, huh?
A what?
Cincinnati, huh?
Oh, Cincinnati.
Yeah, we call it Cincinnati, huh?
It sounded like you had a CH.
Sometimes we do it, huh?
Cincinnati?
Look, don't listen to what I say. Some of them are pretending to be French and they're actually Italian. Hey, come on, what are you talking about? Are we a trade at Cincinnati? That's not something what to do. I will return with more wagons.
Is that Donald Sutherland?
One of them was Donald Sutherland, huh? Well, yes, that is fair. Huh?
So Ben writes a letter in the local paper and said generous Pennsylvanians should offer to rent their wagons and horses to the English.
So it's a bit of a wagon Dunkirk.
Yeah. Yes. And he suggested if they didn't get enough wagons voluntarily, soldiers would probably just come and take them anyway. So
well,
you should do it.
Cool.
And
yeah.
Ben's like, it doesn't bother
Appear
me.
magnanimous or we'll steal them.
Yeah. And Ben's like, I'm just letting you guys know I'm not part of this. I'm just letting you know. So within 2 weeks, he had 150 wagons, horses, and drivers.
Okay.
And he gives word to the farmers the supplies will be returned.
This sucks for farmers, though.
But they're going into war also, so.
Yeah, yeah.
So
wagon war.
The British Army march into Ohio with 1,300 troops. They are very quickly ambushed. The drivers panic. They cut out on their horses and leave the wagons.
Okay, so the wagons are... Hey, how did it go? Where are our wagons?
So I know you gave me 2 horses and a wagon.
Yes,
and I came back
and we need them, and you said they'd come back soon.
So I came back on 1 horse.
And
that's kind of where we're
kind of
at.
missing. Yeah, what way, wagon-wise, where are we at?
The wagon decided to stay and fight.
Well, the wagon is just the wheel.
Well, but it had different ideas. So I took this horse.
Okay, so I'll take the horse.
I took. Well, I need the horse to get back
to what?
To where I live.
To your home? What about the wagons? When are you going to go get our wagons?
The wagon is still fighting.
Go get the wagon's not fighting. It's an inanimate object. Go get the wagon.
It's fighting the French.
We need the wagon.
That'll happen. It might just be at that point like ash in a cup.
The wagon?
Ash in a cup wagon.
Well, then you're cremating the wagons?
Well, I think the French might cremate the wagon after they take the stuff out. The stuff being guns and things of that nature.
It feels like we just don't get wagons back.
Have you heard of the term ass kicking?
Well, I could assume what it means.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know what happened. I just assume I ran away on a horse.
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going with that. It's like bad though. Yeah.
Galloped off.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's bad. Yeah. Well, that feels like a surrender.
I don't know if it's a surrender if I run away. A surrender is if I'm like, I give up. You can have me, but I kept me and the horse, which I renamed, so it's not your horse anymore.
What do you mean? Peanut butter is no longer named peanut butter?
No.
What is it?
Toots.
It's a much worse name.
It's more realistic.
Okay, sure.
All right, see you later.
Bye. It's been a nightmare.
Yeah, so they got their asses kicked. 1,000 British soldiers died. Ben, quote, "This gave us Americans the first suspicion that our exalted ideas of the prowess of British regulars had not been well founded."
So, all bluster. Yeah, they're just like, don't worry, we've got this. Yeah. Well, look, your wagons are gone and most of us are dead. And now the French have taken most of Cincinnati at this point. Columbus is also gone. Cleveland, nobody wants.
Still to this day.
Yeah.
So the general was killed.
Kidding, it's a great place.
All the financial records were on one of the wagons.
What the fuck was the point of that?
I don't know. Ben,
make sure we've got all of our taxes and documents on one of the wagons, and then we'll fucking plow that through the French.
Put the one with the records up front.
That's right. We've lost all our records.
So Ben gets invoices for about £20,000 from the farmers.
Okay.
And he is in a bit of a panic, and he advances 1,000 of his own money. He never gets compensated for that.
Well,
and then it takes tons of convincing to get the British to pay the bills.
Wow.
So it went on for
not done
months.
Anything. Yeah.
It was called like the wagon. What was it called? It was the wagon.
You know, they should have called it the new wheel.
I mean, I try with you, but it gets harder.
Yeah.
All the time.
No, it's hard. For wheel.
Well, now I can't even find it. That's weird. But it's a thing. It's a big.
Sure.
It's a big.
Yeah, they were ripped off.
Yeah, basically. Okay, so he, that knocks him back financially a little bit because £1,000 is a lot of fucking money.
Sure,
as you can imagine. You can't, but other people can.
I mean, it sounds terrible, but I'm glad I don't have to deal with it.
So now Pennsylvania is more vulnerable after the defeat because they took.
They're also so low on wagons.
The assembly wants to raise money for defense, and they want to do that with a land tax. But the Pens.
No, hold on. Now come on now. Look, I agree. We're in dire straits. There's no doubt. But we've got to figure out a way to pay for this because otherwise they're going to come here and they're going to take this land. But we can't be paying for it by taxing the pens.
You'll lose your land if you don't. I mean, you should pay a tax.
Hold on. The goal here is for us to keep the land.
Right,
but not pay for the land.
Right, so they're going to come.
Let's hold those two goals very high.
Unless we can raise money to raise an army.
Yes, we must. And we must. Yeah.
They'll take your land. So we have to raise an army.
I agree. We have to.
And the only way to raise an army is with taxing your land.
Well, taxing or some other way of doing it.
That's the way.
We can't be taxing us. Yeah, we have the land. We need to keep that. And we're not going to be able to pay for something like that. Where are we going to get all that money from? You ever think about that? You ever use your brain?
You're just doing it as a character and I want to kill you.
No, stop it, you.
So, of course, the whole circus of writing the bill and having the Gunniver exempted again starts.
Yeah, right.
So back and forth for months, and the attacks are getting closer and closer to Philadelphia.
Hey, France, can you hold? We're just trying to figure out what our plan is over here.
The bodies of a murdered family were rolled around the streets in a wagon and dumped on the steps.
We do have wagons
of the State House as a protest against inaction. So they
whose bodies?
These are the family murdered by the French or the Native Americans.
All right, okay.
And so they put them in a wagon. They're like, "Here, this is what you guys did." They just dumped the bodies out in the State House. Like, do something.
That's crazy. Not sure if that's going to get us working.
Well, now we have to raise taxes to move bodies. Like, I don't know what you guys are doing.
They're wasting wheelbarrows.
Ben writes this big article in which he has three characters, Mr. X, Mr. Y, and Mr. Z, debating a militia bill. And the pro guy, Mr. X, wins the debate. And this propaganda, is totally effective.
His goal in that is to get the Penns to pay for the defense, basically. Yeah. Right.
So the governor wrote to Thomas Penn, quote, "Since Mr. Ben has put himself at the head of the assembly, they have gone to greater lengths than ever and have not only discovered the warmth of their resentment against your family, but are using every means in their power, even while their country is invaded, to wrest the government out of your hands and to take the whole powers of it into their own."
The governor is writing his little hurt journal. But this is obviously the power of his press and,
Yeah. So raids are increasing. So the governor now has to approach Ben and ask him to take charge of the northwestern frontier, which is infested by the enemy. So we're talking about Native Americans who may have been paid by France, but also live there.
Yeah, also, okay, whatever.
Ben, quote, "I undertook this charge, though I did not conceive myself well qualified for it."
Yes, so he is becoming a military man, essentially?
I mean, yeah, he's supposed to set up whatever.
Pennsylvania.
So he's not at all qualified, obviously.
Right.
But he's going to do it. His biographer, quote, "This account, like many of Ben's, tends to emphasize the importance of Ben."
So even his biographer is basically this goes.
Yeah.
But we've talked about this before. You talked about it, but it's who's writing this shit? A lot of this is his right. I mean, it's one thing when you have the diary of a person,
right? But
it's another thing when this person has a journal.
Yeah, an autobiography is very different than a journal.
Yes.
Yeah. So Ben and his colleagues, Fox and Hamilton, not that different Hamilton,
fair and balanced,
they set out with 150 cavalry and a wagon train on a 50-day expedition.
A wagon train, so a bunch of wagons.
Bunch of wagons.
Sure.
Wagons are back. They found small towns and settlements half deserted and living in fear. Ben orders the scrub around the settlements cleared so they have a clear line of sight and arranged to train the locals. So
Ben is.
Yeah.
He doesn't know what he's doing.
Well, he's got guys with him.
All right. Get your everybody get a stick.
Wagons? Also, who has a typewriter?
Okay, listen. Who's got a kite, a key, some string, and a good time?
Well, he's basically doing a Seven Samurai, right? Like the movie. Like they're going in to help the villagers, but train them to fight.
Well, they're also doing The Last Samurai.
By late January, he had done all he could with the money and the resources given, and he heads home.
Okay.
He heard that crowds of people wanted to thank him for his service, so he snuck off because he's modest, right? That's what he said.
Again, this is total bullshit, right?
Ben, quote, "The people happen to love me because that's my fault."
I love this. I love that this is seeping out now.
Yeah. Well, everybody likes old Ben.
My arm would have gotten too tired from shaking so many hands. No, Ben Franklin, they've never really been about the credit.
So the governor offers him the role of colonel in the Regiment of Philadelphia. Thomas Penn is not happy with that appointment, and a couple months later, the governor resigns.
So he
got fired for appointing Ben.
Right.
So the new governor tells Ben he hoped they could work together, and that Thomas Penn promised if his amendments passed, quote, "I might depend on adequate acknowledgments and a recompense." Bribe.
Right.
Yeah. He's offering a bribe, Ben. So it was back to the governor refusing to sign off on the financial bills.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back there because Ben did not accept the bribe.
All right.
So the assembly appoints a committee of grievances to list the complaints they had against the proprietor being the Penns. They couldn't grant aid to either the king's wars or their own defense. That the Penns should be taxed like everyone else, and that if they refuse to be taxed, why should they get a say on how taxation money was used?
Sure.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Right? That's taxation without representation or not taxation with representation, whatever.
I don't know.
And that judges were appointed by the governor at his will and pleasure rather than on merit.
Okay.
So they're objecting to really...
It's also just, it is... I mean, as we've discussed, it's just very deflating to be like, that's always been
always
fucking problem.
Yeah. So they decided Ben should go to England to talk to Thomas Penn. Oh, did I mention he's not even in...
He's in the UK?
Yeah, he's just a rich guy who lives in Pennsylvania, who owns land.
How's that going over there?
So he doesn't really care
so
if
no
he gets
wonder,
overrun.
Yeah, so no wonder he's just kind of like, whatever. Take your time. We'll figure it out. Oh, you know the French.
In 1757, he heads to New York with his son and, quote, 2 black servants, slaves.
Sure.
Ben slaves.
Does he, because back then having slaves was very in vogue, so why is he saying that? Does he recognize that it's inhumane?
I mean, I don't know how Philadelphia does become like... It's the main place for freed
right
people. So I don't know what it is. The Quakers are mostly not slavery.
Let's bring them back.
Peeps. Anyway, according to Benjamin Franklin House Museum, the slaves were named Peter and King, and King would run away the next year. Quote, "Slavery had no legal basis in England, but black people previously enslaved in overseas colonies were often still treated as enslaved when taken to England. Some individuals used the opportunity of being on English soil to escape, and notices for runaway slaves were often featured in newspapers. The campaign in Britain to abolish slavery would not begin until the 1760s.
Okay.
So Ben apparently bought 5 other slaves at some point.
Okay.
He also made money from slavery because he ran ads for slaves in his papers. But then he also published anti-slavery books written by Quakers, which, if you think about it, again, is making money off of slavery.
Because
you're making money off the debate.
Yeah, you're creating a... Right.
So he goes to London and stays with Peter Collinson, who's the guy who introduced him to electricity.
Uh-huh.
And Ben expects to be away for about a year. He has his own room and a house. His son, William, lives there, and they're 2 slaves. But Ben seems, quote, ambivalent to Deborah and Sally, his
wife and daughter, right?
Who he left behind in Philadelphia.
Okay, right.
And he had strongly suggested to Deborah that she just would not be happy in England.
Oh, you'll hate it.
Oh, you're not going to like it.
You will not like it.
It's
Neither will Sally. It's terrible. There's no women here.
You should stay here with the...
There's not any women here.
Stay here where you might be killed by the French.
You
Native
stay
Americans.
there. Go right on the edge of Ohio and Pennsylvania.
So it was well over a month before he got a meeting with Thomas Penn.
Okay.
Finally sets up a meeting. And
it's great to meet the governor of Pennsylvania.
Nope, because Penn, he finds out he's just going to send his lawyer.
Okay.
So
Getting closer.
Ben is fucking pissed.
Okay.
And then Ben gets really sick. He's sick for 7 weeks.
Oh, shit.
And then he recovers and negotiations start. And he is completely, repeatedly outmaneuvered by Penn because Ben doesn't really know how things work in England. And Penn said he can't give rights to the assembly to make laws because he didn't have that power under the charter. He's not allowed to do it.
I mean, in what way? Because he doesn't...
The charter gave him land, but the charter says you have to...
It's also great. It's a great way to make Ben spin his wheels because he's like, well, go to the charter.
Yeah, it's just...
But that's so far. Go do it. Come back.
Why am I talking to you if you can't do anything? Just go to the charter.
Go to the charter.
Ben said you had no right to do anything in Pennsylvania government if that's the case. If everything is up to the charter, then you actually...
Yeah, then right. What's the point? Yeah.
Penn laughed and said if people were fooled into thinking the Penns had so much power, then that was on them. Ben felt, quote, at that moment, a more thorough contempt for him than I have ever felt for any man living, a contempt that I cannot express in words, but I believe my countenance expressed it strongly. So it's not going well.
No.
And Ben wrote about the meeting to a friend, and somehow Penn gets a hold of that letter.
Uh-oh.
And now a compromise looks impossible.
Because Ben talked a lot of shit.
Yeah.
Friend.
So he's there for a year, and he realizes this is not going to be over quick. His wife was sending him food that he was missing, American food, cranberries.
Okay, I mean, those are definitely going to be like craisins by the time they get there. Pippins?
Apple tarts.
Okay,
Pippins.
like a pie.
Hams.
She's sending hams across the ocean?
Well, hams are salted, right? So they probably...
Can he get that there?
I don't know. Maybe the American ham is...
Put 4 other hams together, and you'll see what I can do.
It.
No.
He's not supposed to be here.
I know. I know we said we were done with me. But take 4 hams, put them together, and then put some toilet water on them.
What?
Put toilet water on them.
Why?
Then you'll see me in my realist form.
Get the fuck away
No.
Is this like a Candyman?
Yes, it's very much like a Power Ranger Candyman thing.
I do that with pies.
Trust me, Ben. This will be perfect. Ha! Oh! Ah! Hee! Ben! Ben!
No.
It's your old friend Keeler.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
I just made
It's
you go
me.
away.
No. You formed me, friend. And now we've got some things to do.
No.
Franklin and Keeler, or Keller. My name is that guy. I'm that feller.
So Ben wined and dined influential people to try to get help. He's going out 6 nights a week. He's drinking 2 bottles of claret at dinner.
This is like
He develops gout.
people in the... Oh, my God. He fucking partied.
He went so hard he got gout. That's partying.
That's partying.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know, man. I've just been drinking a lot of brandy and gravy's been on everything.
Holy shit, my legs are fat and they hurt.
Hey, we going gout tonight?
In the summer of 1759, Ben and William go on a tour of Scotland. And days after that, William learns that he's actually an illegitimate son. I think he maybe thought Deborah was his mom.
Okay.
And no one knows who his mother is. So not great between father and...
But Ben knows who his mother is.
Yeah, but he doesn't tell him.
But he knows. He has to know.
Yeah. Or maybe he's just like, I banged this lady and she had you in the street and I grabbed you.
I mean, it's crazy. Then he'd be like, you might not even be my kid.
In Edinburgh...
All I know is there's a lady who lost a lot of weight one day and then I had you.
No, it doesn't make sense.
No.
Ben met with a bunch of academics, and Ben claims Adam Smith consulted him chapter after chapter in the writing of Wealth of Nations, although absolutely no one knows if that's true.
Right. He's just taking some credit.
Let's say it's not.
Right, okay.
Ben invented a musical instrument called the glass harmonica.
I imagine life without that.
He demonstrated it to Beethoven and Mozart. Both then wrote music for the instrument, which created an international sensation.
Wow.
and superstition. In America, the harmonica was said to be an instrument of witchcraft.
Oh, okay. Wow. Imagine inventing an instrument and then people, I mean, that's basically what rock and roll was. That's the devil's wood.
Yes. It's those same people doing
right.
that. People who played it were said to have later gone insane. Franz Anton Mesmer, a pioneer of hypnosis, used it to entrance the subjects.
Oh, so maybe it was a bit of witchcraft.
Some are monicists today, of which there's not many.
Or some are what? Armonicists.
Armonicists believe all the lead, because it had lead, that there was lead in, I think, in the pipes, different thickness levels or whatever, so that would give it the sound. And they think that may have led to Beethoven's death, because Beethoven was dug up and they found that his hair had 100 times more than you should have of lead.
So Ben Franklin killed Beethoven?
Well, that's what some people think, but everything had lead in it back then, so you can't really say. But yeah, there's some people that think that.
This is huge news. That not a lot of people have talked about this. This is big.
Wow.
Did you know, Dave? This is how you get fucking popular. Shut up.
Ben Franklin killed Beethoven.
All right, that's big, and we're breaking that here. Boom. Okay.
Wait, this is where breaking stories happen.
You're really making it so weird.
Nobody knows that Franklin was a fucking murderer.
We need to have Alex Jones on the show.
Yes.
Normalize him, like other podcasts.
So it wasn't that really popular in America, obviously. In Germany, the harmonica was popular for years.
It is the number one instrument for us.
But it was banned in some states after a baby's unexplained death during a harmonica concert.
Oh, my God. What? I mean, how do you even go like, wow, kids never die in this time?
Because there's the people who hate it. Yes. And they're like, that's what they said happened in America.
Right.
So the Pennsylvania Assembly finally received an answer from Penn on their list of complaints. And he said, no.
Line by line. No.
Fuck off.
Okay.
But the British government was demanding more money for the war, so the Assembly passed another finance bill that taxed the Penns.
Okay.
This time the governor signed it. And Penn is furious, and he asked the Privy Council to oppose most legislation that had been passed in previous years. So he's like, go back and say no to all of it. And this triggers hearings by the Board of Trade in England. And Ben talks to one of the members of the board on a little sidebar.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets an agreement. The finance bill would be condemned publicly.
Okay.
So the Privy Council would come out and go, no.
Which pleases Penn.
But the Penns could be taxed fairly.
Okay.
Because they need money for the war.
Yeah, right. Get those wagons back. By the way, what's with the French? They're just like, okay, today we'll also take 2 steps, and then tomorrow maybe 1. I don't know. What do you think? Eh? We slowly invade them.
So that's what he'd gone there for, to get the taxing of the Penns. Mm-hmm. And the kings had signed off on it. So it was
Tax him.
He was done with his job in England.
Okay.
Did he go home?
No.
Nope. Partly because the Privy Council had awarded Pennsylvania a bunch of money as compensation for a bad investment. Compensation for all the money they'd lost because of Penn not being taxed.
Okay.
But then Ben made a bad investment and basically lost a bunch of the money.
Oh, what?
I don't know. It's just hilarious. So he's like, I'm gonna go on vacation. Hey. So he goes to Belgium and Holland, and he goes back and sees the coronation of King George III. Ben is a monarchist, so he writes back about how
great the
new king's awesome and this is gonna be great. He finally goes home. November 1st. Ben Franklin comes back with him. William Franklin has a new wife.
Okay.
Even though he just had a kid with another woman a couple months before.
Doesn't matter.
New bastard.
You're allowed to do that.
So double he's a bastard.
Yeah, he's had a bastard.
Bastard makes a bastard. William is now appointed governor of New Jersey, which the Penn family is furious about. John Penn, who's now the governor of Pennsylvania, calls it a dishonor and disgrace.
Hilarious that guy's like, Not just anyone can be governor.
It is, he says that in a letter to his uncle, quote, if any gentleman had been appointed, it would have been a different case. I am hardly able to contain myself at the thought of it. Because not only is it Ben's son, but it's a bastard. It is a bastard Franklin governor.
Right.
It is the ultimate nightmare.
Right.
So peace is declared with France.
Nice.
But fighting is still going on with the
We don't understand.
Native Americans who have a different problem.
Right.
Because their land is being stolen. And white.
So the Americans didn't like that France was invading their land, so they reached a peace deal. And then nobody understood why the Native Americans were fighting.
Well, the English reached a peace deal with France.
Right.
No, they know why the Native Americans are fighting.
But it's also like
But the Native Americans
same reason.
Just lost a lot of funding and help with weapons and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
So white people are just at a rage at this point because those savages are.
Let's not do that thing where we assign color.
Because
I think that's really
you're
gotten.
listening to Joe Rogan.
I think that's really gotten in the way of a lot. I think there's a lot of a lot's coming tracing back to us the more we talk about that stuff.
We'll be right back on Scarborough Country.
Thank you. You see their meeting with Trump?
Holy fucking just classic.
You know I love Morning Joe.
I know, but it's so funny. People are like, I can't believe Morning Joe's doing this. He's always been a Republican.
It's like, they was like best friends with him.
I know. He fucking built him up.
They were like best friends.
Christ. Okay, so the white people are now mad about the.
You know how they should just change the name of that to MOURIN Morning Joe.
Yeah,
because he's just sitting there, just like.
He's a sad little white guy.
Yeah, let's not do that.
We shouldn't. Yeah, sorry, he killed
Nope.
an intern.
No.
Why not?
No.
Why not?
Nah, sure he killed an intern.
Yeah, he gets to say all his lies. Why can't we say something?
Yeah.
So anyway,
They ate it.
So white people are mad and they start massacring Native Americans, and they do a big massacre on peaceful Native Americans, and arrest warrants are issued for whites for the killings, which some people are like, that's treason. You can't.
How dare you?
We can't kill them. That's wrong.
I think what they are not under. Hold on. Let's just. The people you're going after are also white. Do you see what's so confusing?
So the white vengeance mob is getting larger, and by February 1764, hundreds of men march on Philadelphia.
Right.
And Governor John Penn seeks help from
Ben
Franklin,
Nice.
his great enemy who he hates.
Because he needs him in the paper to use his power.
Ben's the most influential man in the area. So Ben rides out and he meets this mob 8 miles from Philadelphia, and he gives a big speech and he talks them into just going home and not doing what they're going to do. Governor Penn then, quote, offered a bounty for Indian scalps, male or female, and took no action against the white murders of indigenous people for the massacre. So this fucking pisses off Ben because he feels like he's been used.
He negotiates to basically stop.
He negotiates it for,
and then this guy's just like, yes. And now that that's over, I'm offering money for the murder of male or female Native Americans.
Let's start murdering again. So yeah, he just totally used.
He makes him look like a chump.
So Ben writes a pamphlet decrying the actions of white settlers, saying the alleged barbarians of America at least only attacked their enemies, not their friends, as the white mob had done. So he's undermining with his propaganda stuff.
Right.
He again goes after the Penns in the assembly.
Jesus.
And he calls for the crown to take over ownership completely. So he's like, get rid of these motherfuckers.
Wow.
They're poison.
These people are just I mean, look, you can't get them out of power. We need a king.
Now the governor refuses to sign any finance bills.
Okay.
And the assembly petitions for King George III to take over the colony.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, that's very weird too.
Yeah. Because
To
they're
just
the
be
one.
like, we started our own thing, ass. Could you come over for a little bit?
But it's also like because Ben, remember, is talking King George III up.
Yeah, right.
So
Oh,
like,
right.
that one's better.
Yeah, right. Right, yeah, right. Yeah, he's like, this is ridiculous what you're doing. You can't govern like this. Hey, George, can you come over here and show him how to do it?
Could you? Yes, another royal. So in October, there's an election. Penn's party runs a negative campaign on Ben, focusing on his extravagances in London. So, right.
I mean, he did get gout.
womanizing.
Yeah.
His son's a bastard. That's a big part of it. And he ends up losing by 25 votes.
Wow.
So they go full Fox News. But his party wins the majority. So the party's like, hey, Ben, go back to England, convince the crown to take over the colony, and to protest against this new tax that they're talking about in England, the stamp tax. Stamp tax is a fee on legal documents and papers. And so Massachusetts and Georgia also asked Ben to represent them with the stamp tax.
We also.
So other states are like, hey,
get the king.
Get in on this. We know, take care of some business. So he's now.
So this is basically like returning America. Like, I mean, kind of, right?
What?
Well, aren't you kind of being like?
It's not America yet.
I know, but right, okay,
It's
gotcha.
still separate colonies.
Right. So
under the king,
we have not. How close are we to this?
He's going to undermine the Penns. He's trying to get the Penns.
He's now having the monarchy reset the local governments, basically.
No, he's saying reset. Like it's to get rid of the Penns and have somebody else come in.
Right.
It's just going to be a different dick landowner.
Right.
That's all they want.
Right. What year are we in?
Oh, it's 1764, I think.
So we're close.
We're close. And then Massachusetts and Georgia have a different gripe, and that's the stamp tax.
Right. Okay.
So Pennsylvania, Massachusetts, and Georgia all upset about the stamp tax.
Right.
But Pennsylvania is separately upset about the owner.
Okay, gotcha.
So he is like the key American diplomat, and he leaves. He left his wife behind again.
She was like, "We should all go." Ben,
no.
Ben,
yes.
Sally and I should also join you on this.
I would love that, but you...
I actually have word, and it confirmed that there are women in England. You said there were
women in England. There are, but they're all being killed by Jack the Ripper.
What?
Every single one.
I don't believe that. There's a lot of women over there.
Yeah.
He's
not there.
I was probably there
years,
once.
Decades.
Maybe. Or maybe not.
Well, now they're mostly being killed.
Well, I should come over there with you and make sure that...
I couldn't protect you. Not in England. I'm not allowed to stop.
You don't even seem broken up by the idea that I can't come with you.
I'm crying every night.
Are you?
Yes.
Show me the emotion I need to see from you to allow you to go do this again. Because last time you were there, from what I heard, you just visited sex workers and got gout. But there's no tears coming out of your eyes,
I know,
Ben.
but the sound sounds very bad.
It doesn't.
It's a bad sounding sound.
It doesn't.
It sounds like I'm upset.
It sounds like a dog sleeping. It sounds like when a dog sleeps.
That's how my father taught me how to cry.
But there's no tears, Ben.
I had my eye
Ben, I saw you cry once.
Sealed.
I've seen you cry.
That was fake.
Ben, then why wouldn't you do that fake cry? I mean, it's just...
I'm thinking of...
Ben, do you love me?
Yes. Just,
Ben?
I love you better when I'm in England.
It's weird.
It's not.
It is. How
It's
long will
very
you be
common.
gone?
Yes.
How long will you be gone?
A couple months.
Don't get gout.
I will not get... I learned my lesson.
Don't get gout.
Gout-free.
And don't come back all syphilitic and stuff.
Maybe not.
No kids.
No kids.
Don't have any more kids.
I did that once. I'm not going to do that again.
I just think at least I should go. Maybe Sally.
No, we have to. No, you have to stay here and take care of Sally.
I could bring her with us.
No, but she can't travel on the ocean.
Yes,
She's
she
a
can.
girl. A womb will come out.
No, she did. What are you talking? How old is she?
7.
Well, she doesn't have a womb.
12? Maybe 15?
Maybe I don't know how it works, to be quite honest with you.
I think they start with what?
Okay, so
they don't grow in.
Don't say they.
It's not like
we.
It's not like a shell on a crab.
No, I don't believe that all of a sudden it like balloons inside of us. Don't think that I'm thinking that,
But
but I
it's
just
a bad thing to bring up during the Benjamin Franklin episode.
no. How does a womb start?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, a woman is not born with a womb.
Fuck. Okay, so in London, he meets his illegitimate grandchild. Remember,
Okay.
because William had a
Right.
bastard, William Temple, and Ben sends him to school in Kensington, so fancy school.
Sure.
He wrote to Deborah. He hoped she could join him, but then says he'll be home in a couple months, so don't bother.
So don't bother.
Yeah.
Stay there.
I'll be
I
there.
miss you endlessly, but stay there.
Coming soon.
Don't worry.
His letters are full of contradictory statements. We have no idea how Deborah felt about it.
Sure, I do.
Yep. After a bit, Ben concluded the Stamp Act is a done deal. He can't fight it. And it's not important as having Pennsylvania removed from Penn family control anyway.
Okay.
So he thinks the Americas will just accept the Stamp Act without a lot of fuss. Like, it'll be bad, but everyone's going to take it. But it causes rioting. And those who enforced it were threatened with violence. People had their effigies burned. People are resigning in mass.
They need a law and order
I
president.
think Hamilton was stoned over the Stamp Act, or it might have been a different act. No, it wasn't Hamilton. I'm thinking of someone else. So in New York, they burned the governor's coach. Like, it's a big fucking deal.
I was just teaching him how to play basketball. What did I do?
A cartoon depicted the devil whispering in Ben's ear, quote, "Thee shall be agent, Ben, for all my dominions."
Oh, wow. That's like so...
Yes,
It's
yeah.
not really funny.
It's not a ha-ha cartoon.
It's not funny.
Ben's house is under threat, and his daughter has to leave town. American businesses canceled trade with Britain. About 700,000 pounds of goods were canceled.
Wow.
Another 4 million are at risk of being canceled. The tax was only supposed to raise about 600,000 pounds. So they've already fucked up.
Right.
Ben realizes he is on the wrong side.
Right.
He's like, oh, people did care about this.
Yeah.
He changes course. He starts writing letters. He uses pseudonyms to write propaganda about how America should just ditch British products altogether. So Britain should not piss them off.
Right.
He suggests that America wasn't relying on English wool. Quote, "The very tails of American sheep are so laden with wool that each has a car or wagon on 4 little wheels to support and keep it from trailing on the ground."
Huh?
He's
saying that people like wool so much they have a wagon?
No, he's saying that they don't need British wool because
we got so much wool.
yeah,
We got fuck you wool.
yeah, we got
We
fuck
got
you wool.
wagons because we got so much
We
wool.
got to have wagons behind the sheep to hold up the wool.
That's right.
The House of Commons held hearings on the Stamp Act, and they called Ben as a witness. An observer said it was like, quote, a master being examined by a panel of schoolboys.
Yes, which, by the way, is my fetish.
That's the... the act is repealed a few weeks later.
Wow. So the lesson being that rioting and effigy burning can be quite effective when done in unison.
Yeah, people don't like to talk about that.
No.
The main reason were the economic impacts from Britain, actually, and the canceling trade and all that. But in Pennsylvania, it was rumored Ben had done it single-handedly, which Bennett, of course, pushed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
In Philadelphia, there were celebrations with bonfires. The
Campfires.
captain of the ship that brought the news was bought drinks, and the crew was given presents.
That's pretty cool.
Did Ben come home?
Well, do you want me to let me answer the question? Did he want to come home? Yes, greatly. Was he able to? No.
No. He kept saying it. He kept writing and saying it. It'd be weeks or
2
months.
weeks.
He did 10 years.
So he really did not.
No, he did absolutely.
He didn't love her. He just liked
I don't think
playing
so.
the field and getting gout.
It doesn't seem like
getting gout must be very fun.
Well, you're partying to get it. Like,
Yeah, that's what I
gout is
mean.
a
You're
good
just
time.
you're just eating like a lot of shellfish.
It
and
hurts. It hurts like fuck when you get it. But
Well,
up
yeah, when you
until
get
then,
it hurts.
yeah.
Then it feels like you're standing on a bed of needles.
But the
until
party
then,
to gout
the party to gout
worth it.
is awesome.
Some think he stayed so long because the Stamp Act was the first battle in a bigger war.
No.
Ben does not
He
want...
was just like Charlie Sheen. Ben got AIDS.
He doesn't want independence for America. But he could see that there were fractures happening.
Okay.
So
yeah, because he's a monarchist.
He wrote to a friend about a thing that had long, around this time, been in vogue for a little while. The cold bath.
What's up?
But he didn't like the shock of cold water. So Ben had come up with something different.
He liked to shock
An
monks.
invention, as it were.
He's going to heat the bath.
Quote, I have found it much more agreeable to my constitution.
This is shocking.
To bathe in another element.
Oh, boy. So not warm water.
I mean...
Milk?
Cold air.
Man, no, not a thing though.
With this view, I rise early almost every morning and sit in my
He just likes to be
chamber
naked?
without any clothes whatever,
Yeah.
half an hour or an hour. In the afternoon, he'd sit in the nude for a warm
In
air
a bath?
Well, he just sit around naked.
And he was like, an air bath.
He's just nuding it up.
So he's like a nudist?
He's a nudist. He's just
No, he isn't.
He likes hanging it out.
Is he taking a warm bath later?
Of air, yeah. In the
So
afternoon.
he's only doing, so he's just, is he getting in a bathtub?
Nope.
He likes to just be naked
He's
a lot.
lounging about in the nude. Yeah.
It's, from what I've seen of him, probably not, give me Washington.
He's also a big fan of corn.
I mean, you don't want a gout guy to be naked.
No.
Look at that.
He's also a big fan of corn.
He likes corn
A
and
lot
being naked.
A lot of people think corn is shit at this time. A lot of that is because of racism, because South Americans and Native Americans liked it. So how good could it be?
Sure.
If those people are eating it. So Ben loves it. He loved making succotash.
What is succotash?
It's like lima beans and corn and something else. There's like three things, but yeah.
Picturing this naked weirdo just eating succotash.
Yeah.
Come on. Can you believe my wife is... Can you believe other women are fucking me?
So as a writer, Ben pushed popcorn, grits, Johnny cakes, and other corn-based dishes to the public.
Oh, you have to have Johnny cakes.
In 1766, the British newspaper Gazetteer and the New Daily Advertiser wrote an article called corn tasteless food. And Ben wrote a rebuttal stating that, quote, a Johnny or hoe cake hot from the fire is better than a Yorkshire muffin.
Oh, Christ.
You don't come after our muffins, Franklin. You've done it now. We're at war again.
Because he's just naked.
Ben Franklin came after the muffin today.
We will have him killed.
Which muffin?
The
Do
Yorkshire
say-
muffin.
Whoa!
I know.
God damn it!
I know.
First it's the French,
Let's
now it's the
stop.
shit.
I know. Breathe.
Stand calm.
Breathe.
Stand calm.
Breathe. There you are.
So another thing Ben didn't like was the alphabet. And in 1768, he decided to fix it.
What the fuck?
He came up with a new one.
It's a little Elon-y.
Got rid of 6 letters.
What?
C, J, W, Q, X, and Y.
Yeah, I don't think you're... No, we've
They're
agreed on language.
Too confusing.
No, we've agreed on it.
They're out. He added double vowels, E, E, A, A, pronounced as long sounds, ah, E, and added 6 new letters like N, G, S, H, and TH.
He was the guy who came up with shit?
Mm,
We have him to thanks for shit?
that's right. He hoped it would improve spelling.
So wait, how many...
26 letters now. He got rid of 6.
And
So
then
there's 20 letters, and then he added 6 new ones. So 26 again, but better letters.
what were the letters he got rid of?
C, J, W, Q, X, and Y.
Which we have still.
Yes.
And what were the new letters?
N, G, S, H, T, H, and ones like that.
We have those now.
No, we don't have those.
NG?
NG is not a letter.
Oh, NG is its own?
Yeah, he wanted NG to be a letter.
Oh, he was combining N and G.
SH and T. Yeah, so he's
Oh,
combining 2 letters.
was its own letter.
Yeah.
What was the point of this? He's got too much time on his hands.
some languages have things like that. That's pretty common.
Not us.
Not us, because our
We don't need our letters fucking.
our language sucks.
What are you talking about?
Dave.
It's a new alphabet for a new nation.
Yeah.
It's for the coming nation of America.
Yeah.
He had special printing blocks made for it for the typewriter.
Oh, that was a shame. That was a waste.
Noah Webster wrote about it from Webster's Dictionary. Never caught on.
It was a big deal back then, Webster.
Yeah. Never caught on.
God, it must have been so... Webster must have been the fucking man back then. Can you fucking imagine the fucking Webster did?
I mean, is it possible to get a new word in there?
Look,
Hey,
I'll be honest. We're only adding about 3 or 4 this year, so it's pretty tight.
but just listen. Phlemorph.
What does phlemorph mean exactly?
It's when a pop-ups that you cook in the oven, they pop up. It's a doughy little thing.
Sure, yeah, something that...
So it's when they pop up.
But that's a
How they-
pop-up.
But it's how they do it.
That's when they pop up. I don't think we need it.
Yeah, no, I don't think people understand, because pop-ups can also be like, hey, I'm popping up this tent or whatever. Hey, my dick. But this is like different. It's
No,
like
we're going to pass.
phlemorph.
Sorry.
Phlemorph.
No,
And then it's up.
it's a pass.
Webster,
Hmm.
I have a pitch for a word.
Mm-hmm.
Shiplink.
Oh, well, you little minx. What is shiplink?
Shiplink?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'd like to show you rather than pitch it to you.
Oh,
Follow me to the bathroom.
hello.
I have an upset stomach.
What?
It's gonna be horrible.
Jesus Christ, my lady.
Hold on.
Oh, I'm sickened.
It's a rocket poop.
We already having something like this. It's called sickened.
It's shiplink.
I did not expect that.
My word is pure fap.
What is that?
It's when I push on one of my nostrils and shoot the snot out of the other one.
Okay, thank you. No.
I would like to honor you with having this word included, please.
How was work, honey?
It's a rough day, man.
Oh.
I'm starting to rethink. Maybe I should have made a dictionary.
Oh, well, life working for the dictionary has got to be barf, 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 barf.
God damn it!
What?
I've had enough at work today.
It's my way of saying exhausting.
Stop it, honey!
Barf, 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 barf,
I
barf, barf.
just want to come home and eat and spend time with my woman.
I agree. You deserve to have a warm, hot poo.
Don't
poo,
you?
poo, poo.
God damn it!
Think about it. It's just a P and an O and a bunch of other P's.
The curse of my life is that damn dictionary.
So what's been going on with your wife? Lay down on the couch and why don't you start to tell me?
Yeah, she's coming with all kinds of new words, and I
Oh,
just
well,
want to have
of
time when I
course.
don't have to do that. I need
Well, that's what
relaxing
makes the
time.
relationship between you and I so
Yes.
vulgabamba. You get to come here and just communicate to me in an environment where everything's private and it's a vulgamba. Between us. That would be VULGUMBABA. Vulgamamba. Maybe I spelled it a little different.
I'm looking up this new word, suicide.
Well, you're not going to be able to say that online.
Unalived.
Yes.
So, the British government is really just kind of stumbling along with their American policy. Like, it's just not going well.
Sure.
So during a speech,
It's like when they're actually trying to build a nation, they're like, this is a lot harder than just taking them.
So there's a new chancellor, and he's giving a speech, and he's heckled by his opponent, who yells, quote, "Dare not tax the Americans."
Whoa. Everyone was like, grumble, grumble.
So as a fuck you, right after that, the chancellor introduced levies on glass, lead, paint, paper, and tea. So he's
Tariffs.
taxing. Yeah, tariffs. Historian A.F. Pollard, quote, "To obtain a paltry revenue of 40,000 pounds, he entered a path which led to the dismemberment of the empire."
Wow.
Whoopsie.
Okay. Imagine.
Yeah, imagine a guy doing tariffs and not realizing how fucking bad it'll be.
He can't. He can't happen. Right? He can't.
Yeah, he could.
It's just.
He's definitely going to do it on cars so Elon can be the, because Elon's already used up all of his tax credits, so it doesn't matter if Tesla has them anymore.
Right.
So it'll just hurt other companies. It's great. In Boston, Samuel Adams and James Otis called for all the colonies to unite, which was considered sedition.
Okay.
So the assembly was dissolved and British troops were sent in.
Stop talking.
Within a year.
Stop trying to be buddies.
No more friendships.
You will no longer decide to work together. Please.
Yeah. Within a year, the Boston Massacre happened. So there was a snowball attack on a British soldier that led to rioting and 5 deaths.
So funny, this snowball.
I'm quite cold.
Imagine in like the modern world if someone threw something at them and then they killed.
Overreact.
Ben was optimistic an agreement could be made, giving the colonies more independence, but without actually becoming independent. So he wants America to have more independence,
but not be united.
Not be free.
Right.
Like, not still under the crown.
So some independence.
Well, like Canada is today, right? Like
it's like in an open relationship.
Yes. And the ability to make their own income, but it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. And he keeps telling Deborah he planned to return. But it's starting to sound like BS at this point.
Yeah, but she's like, I'm 90.
In 1771, he starts writing his autobiography.
Okay.
I'm not going to finish that until 1789, but he starts.
Sure.
Now, Ben is also a big land speculator.
Okay.
In 1764, he bought 20,000 acres in Nova Scotia.
Holy shit.
He was an investor in the Grand Ohio scheme, which was to develop more colonies to the west.
Okay.
If the colonies were created, he would make bank. The fact that many of his investors were ministers and Ben had influential government positions, it's just corrupt.
Helpful.
It's just all corrupt. In 1772, Ben said he was talking to an important Brit about how awful it was that England sent troops to Boston. And the guy assured Ben that Massachusetts had actually requested the troops. So Ben asked for evidence, and he was given 6 letters between a British MP, Thomas Whately, and Thomas Hutchinson, the governor of Massachusetts. And Ben sends them to a friend in Boston, and he's like, don't copy these, don't publish these. But he knew they were going to be shared. Like, you don't send something like that unless you know. So they were. And a few months later, the letters were debated in the Massachusetts Assembly, which then voted that the letters were intended to, quote, overthrow the constitution of this government and introduce arbitrary power to the province. And the letters were then in the public record.
Okay.
And printed in a bunch of newspapers. But the letters were not as sensational as they appeared. They were written before Hutchinson was governor.
Okay.
And before Whately was an MP. So they're just business guys at that point, writing letters back and forth. So they didn't have actual power.
But
the most damning letter was written 4 months after Britain sent troops. But it didn't matter. Hutchinson was fired, and the MP was already dead. So that really didn't matter.
Okay.
So no one knew how the letters got out to the public. And the dead MP's brother accuses this guy named John Temple, who denies it.
Sure. And
people still believe that that's who did it. And so he challenges Whately's brother to a duel.
That is how you'll find the truth. It's a very interesting way to, like, when they're doing that, are they going like, God'll decide? They're just like, I'm so sick of your bullshit.
I think it's a way of saying it's the strongest way to say he's lying about me.
Right.
Yeah.
But then you kill the guy and you're like, see? Or you're like, oh.
Told ya.
Okay.
So he comes without a pistol, Whately, the brother.
Mm-hmm.
So Temple lends him one, and then they both shoot wide, and then they go to swords.
So weird.
And neither knew what to do with a sword.
But this is crazy.
Whately was injured a couple of times, and then they're like, okay, that's good.
The weirdest thing to watch. All right, and welcome to the duel. They both have gone wide left. Now they're taking out the swords. Neither one seems comfortable with a blade in their hand right now. You can see they're kind of slinging them back and forth, and they're not sure what to do. Oh, God, Watley has stabbed his own leg. All right, feels like they're kind of wrapping this up. Not sure what direction this goes in, but...
Pillows!
Okay, now they're bringing out the pillows. They are fighting with pillows. Watley's leg bleeding pretty badly, but now they're punching each other with some pillows. Now they're hugging each other. I think it's over. This is a really weird way to do it.
So now, seeing this, Ben writes in these letters, quote, I alone am the person who obtained and transmitted to Boston the letters in question. They are not of the nature of private letters between friends. They were written by public officers to person in public stations.
Not true.
Lie. Total lie. On public affairs and intended to procure public measures. Their tendency was to incense the mother country against her colonies.
So all a lie. How many, like, when he writes these letters or when he's writing his paper, is he using his own little letters? Is he like, see how good the S and the H is? People like, Ben, let it fucking go, dude.
I think he gave up on that.
You know what I mean? It just kind of works together like a marriage.
I don't know how long he tried. He must have tried for a little while with that. Yeah.
Like, oh, I think you're just using my letter. What? I'm just having a conversation. I know, but I heard you guys use my letter.
Did you say shh?
Yeah, SH.
Yeah, that's my letter.
That's 2 letters.
No, it's my letter. I made it 1 letter.
It's just 2 letters. It's the sound sh. SH.
No, it's ch, which is a letter now.
Is it S and an H?
Yeah, together, a letter.
Can you say soup?
Yeah.
What about hat?
S is also a separate letter.
Yeah, so then they're
and also SH.
That's not a let. That's just using 2 letters. What is the point?
What?
What do you mean what?
Also, that's a letter too. So the point is that's also
yeah. That's
letter.
N and T. This is its own letter.
No, it's different. Yeah, NG is its own letter, right?
Yeah, no.
Also, N and G are separately their own letter. Also,
no. Is it no?
Yeah.
SH was the one I was. No.
Also SH.
Dude.
Also no.
No is a word.
No, it's a letter.
No, it isn't. It's a word. It means no, as in no, this is stupid.
Also is.
No, stop fucking, dude. I swear to fucking God. If you don't stop this bullshit.
You know what else is a letter?
What?
Fucking.
That's not a.
Yeah.
Ben's drunk.
An East India Company ship arrives in Boston Harbor. It's got a bunch of tea on it.
Uh-oh.
But locals stopped it and unloaded the cargo. And then the Sons of Liberty dumped 342 chests of tea into the harbor.
The British are like,
no, the tea!
Quickly, drink the harbor.
I'm weakening.
Drink the harbor.
The Privy Council over Hutchinson's firing takes place.
Okay.
It's packed. The Solicitor General, Alexander Wedderburn.
That's right.
Where do you people come from? I mean, honestly, your names are
How do you put out a fire?
Like
How do you put out a fire?
Wedderburn?
How do you put it out? What do you do? Walk me through a process. You put water on a flame.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And if it's not out, it'll be a Wedderburn. Man, not so soon now, are you dumb boy?
So Wedderburn laid into Ben for an hour. The private letters, Ben got them by fraudulent means, or he stole them from a person who stole them. Quote, I ask, my lords, whether the revengeful temper attributed to the bloody African is not surpassed by the coolness and apathy of the wily American.
Cool.
Well, so this is how upset they were with Americans. They're like, worse than black people.
Wow. And they're like, now hold on a minute.
Oh, why
How dare you?
So some great stuff there.
Yep. As usual.
The petition to fire Hutchinson was then rejected.
Okay.
And then Ben was fired as the postmaster of North America.
Oh, no.
People now go out and burn effigies of Hutchinson and Wedderburn in Pennsylvania. Wedderburn because he insulted Ben and Americans.
So they love
obviously.
Ben.
Well, they love Ben. And also he was like, if he says you're less than people in Africa, then obviously Americans can't handle that. By the spring of 1774, Ben was ostracized by the British establishment.
Uh-oh.
Might be the time to go home to his family.
They need
right?
him. Yeah, of course it would be.
He kept saying he'd go back in a few weeks next month.
Once my wife dies, I'll head back.
But in autumn 1774, he's still in London. And the vibe between Britain and America is getting worse. Dr. Johnson.
He's just partying and fornicating and
I don't know why he stayed. He must be enjoying the fuck out of it. Yeah. Dr. Johnson, an academic and writer of the first dictionary, called Americans, quote, a race of convicts and ought to be thankful for anything we allow them short of hanging. Yeah, well, I can't really.
Sure.
Yeah. Ben's dream of the colonies with some independence and a royal blessing is fading fast.
So weird.
So he assures his few British friends left that he had never met an American who wanted a fully independent nation. He's been in Britain now for 18 years.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
I mean, he's not even married. I mean, come on.
No, he's not.
She never came over. She never.
No.
Like, they're not married.
This is the girlfriend who lives in Canada.
Yeah. And people say, he fucked around at this time, and other people are like, no, he didn't.
He did.
Come on.
He did.
Come on.
100%.
Just before coming home, his wife died.
I knew it.
Oh, come back now.
Oh, honey.
Oh,
no.
God, I miss you.
Now I'm single.
He hadn't seen her for 11 years, so maybe he must have traveled a couple times.
What?
But he hadn't seen her in 11 years.
That's not great.
Or she came to him. But either way.
She showed up. He was like,
Oh, fuck. Let me take my dick out of this person's mouth.
Let me just get the lipstick off my schlong.
She'd been unwell for a while with something that sounds like dementia.
Oh, wow.
He sent her $30 a month, but when she didn't give detailed reports of her spending, he refused to send more.
Well, now you don't exist.
So she had to borrow from friends.
Ugh.
Because with dementia, she would have been able to write report accounts of fucking what she was.
I didn't know she had dementia. How am I supposed to know she had dementia? I didn't see her in 11 years.
Fuck. His son, William, now urges him to return. Besides, everyone in England hates him at this point. Quote, you are looked upon with an evil eye in that country and are in no small danger of being brought into trouble for your political conduct. You had certainly better return while you are able to bear the fatigues of the voyage to a country where the people revere you and you are inclined to pay a deference of your opinions.
I'm getting divorced.
In March 1775, at 70 years old, Ben Franklin left England with his
70.
grandson.
He's a double bastard.
Days later, an arrest warrant was issued for him in London.
Oh, shit.
The dead MP's brother, Whately, accused him of persecution.
Wow.
And soon, he was to become president of the United States of America.
Dave,
End of
don't
part
tease
2. That'll
me.
be in part 3.
Don't tease me.
Research done by the fantastic Charlotte George.
Wow. This is quite a epic run.
Main source, the autobiography of Ben Franklin. Ben Franklin, a biography by Ronald Clark. Also, the Ben Franklin House Museum. Reuters. Archives.com. The Wagon Affair by
The Wagon Affair.
J. Bell Whitfield and Leonard W. Laborie in the Proceedings of American Philosophical Society. Ben Franklin to Jacques Babadi de Bon. It's a letter. Spoon
I just found an old
University.
voicemail from you. Let's listen to it.
Washington Post, LA Times, History.net, All Things Liberty, and Philly Magazine.
All right, here you go. Hold on.
This is a recording. Do you know how to do the speaker?
No. The fuck?
It sounds like your phone is bad.
Yeah, it does. Hey, Dirt Pig, give me a call. Dirt Pig is what you said.
Yeah.
All right, let's end this.
Having listened to the podcast and the previous one, am I incorrect? Dirt Pig.
There was a character.
Well,
And
it's
my-
weird how I foresaw.
Are you asking for more of me?
Goodbye.